No, we'll say her name on Destiny's Child. Or does it will say my name? Huh?
We want to know.
I saw.
Serving us tea, piping hot.
I saw on Destiny's Child, like, there was a documentary that came out of, like, the other members now who had left originally.
Yeah.
Now they're cool with Beyonce.
Actually, they're planning to do, or if this is true, they're planning to do a reunion tour.
All four of them?
With Latosha, Latoya.
All of them had L's.
Yeah. the L's. The L's.
But it kind of reminds me when this movie came out, Dreamgirls.
Yeah.
You know?
Beyonce
was in it. And then
she played the role perfectly.
Yeah, and then there's this girl who was like removed from the group.
Yeah.
Remember? And
yes.
Then they brought in someone else.
Jennifer Hudson.
Yeah, Jennifer was. I felt like that was like Destiny's Child. You know, like how they brought in Michelle.
Yeah.
Then Michelle. So, but when they did the reunion in Dreamgirls,
yeah.
Now all the Dreamgirls were there.
Right.
So now I'm thinking, like, if they do Destiny's Child, they can't tell Michelle, take a seat.
Oh no! In fact, Michelle. The funny thing is, Michelle is one of the strongest characters actually in Destiny's Child. Like, she talks a lot. She has a strong presence. It's only that you couldn't see it in the music. I think she also preferred to take a back seat when it came to the music.
Hey, music, she took a back seat.
Yes, compared to everybody, but she has a very strong character. That's why I think she was able to stand with the others that long.
And then there's a rumor she was dating Donnie McClurkin.
Really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised anyway.
So people always like. I know she tried to do her own solo career. She came out with this African kind of sound earlier on.
Yeah.
The early Afro beat. Like, she came up with.
When Jesus said yes, nobody can say no.
I think it was hyped up for about a month.
Oh no, that thing stayed.
It was hyped up, then it just disappeared. It's like Michelle's doing her own thing.
Yeah.
Then it just because Kelly had already put out her album.
Yeah.
She had already put out her music, which did like I think Kelly is one of the strongest vocalists in Destiny's Child. But of course Beyonce has the branding, she has all that, she has the support, she has the look. I saw Chang say this the other day that he feels that Beyonce is one of the greatest artists of all time. He even claimed that he feels that she surpasses Michael Jackson and Prince.
No, please.
Yeah. So there was a huge debate about whether.
Let's not do that.
Because the guys who were hosting were like, you know what? Michael Jackson came up in the 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
He was like 5. And he was practicing like 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
He was hitting those keys perfectly. There was no auto-tune.
Yeah. Like, please, apples and oranges. Let's not do that, please.
Yeah,
please.
And then Prince was... Then he was trying to make like, yeah, Prince was a good artist,
Don't even go there. As in, like, what? Prince was one of the best.
Yeah, in fact, Michael Jackson was a vocalist, but Prince was a musician. He was a multi-musician.
He played the guitar. He could dance. He could dress. He could sing. He could move the crowds. Like,
in fact, I saw this documentary when he was in high school, and this guy heard his music and he sent it off to this record label.
Yeah.
And the record label like, this is really dope, man. Who's the band? And they're like, it's one guy. He played the bass guitar, the drums. He played everything. They couldn't believe it.
Prince, league of his own. Let's be very honest. And you can't compare. But it is a time for a lot of comebacks for a lot of people. A lot of people are trying to get the bands back together, try to do their thing. There are those who fail, like B2K. Oh Lord, B2K.
Don't forget, in Kenya we have I feel like Kenya's bands are like sidelined. We were talking about this the other day.
Ooh.
Guys, like, remember there was a time of Hot Rod.
Yeah, Hot Rod by, yeah.
Gogosimo.
Yeah.
Gogosimo
is still there.
Yeah, they're still there. They've been there like for ages. I don't think they're going anywhere. But we rarely talk about of course, the Mushrooms are making their comeback. Doing their thing.
They were here in our midst.
Yes.
In our midst last
week. The OGs
of
the band singing movement.
It was a pleasure. It was an honor. Yes.
Yeah. So it's like I feel that we rarely talk about our Kenyan bands that are doing big things. We focus more on the urban music scene, and I think it's great that we focus on the urban music, but I feel like they also need to get their flowers.
100%.
They need to be appreciated.
Like Leswanika is still touring till now.
'Cause the
They've
time.
done Gecko Cafe. They've done Blankets and Wine. They're there in their suits and their top hats, looking dope as ever.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing to see them still doing their thing and showing the young cats this is how it's done
Yeah, they need to know.
when it comes to live.
They need to know how it's done. These guys, people forget about these older bands. When they get on stage and dance, they were all in sync. They would play the guitars, move. Like if you see a group, like I saw the time they did this documentary on this group Mangalepa. Those guys were killing it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
They were killing it. You know. And so I feel like there's a lot that we can talk about. You know. And it's great to see that these bands are coming back and they're really putting in the time.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, we're here to put in the work. So that's great.
It is absolutely 100% great. They're also getting into their own documentaries, trying to just document. Because remember we talked about it. The Ted Josiah had come out and said that the bands nowadays will no longer remain relevant in 20 years to come.
Soul, in fact, was the one he mentioned.
Yeah, and that's because he thought people didn't understand what he actually meant. And the true story is there isn't archiving of our music.
You know,
there isn't.
You know, Ted. Ted is an interesting character. Like Ted, remember him from back in the days. He's always been the same. There's nothing that's changed about him really, apart from maybe situations he's gone through.
Yeah,
but
he's gone through a lot.
But Ted has this personality. Like he just speaks what's in his heart, you know. And he speaks when he's talking about his line of joke. You know, he comes out. He's passionate. He's just passionate. And I feel that some people, because they're so aligned with some of these artists, they got intimidated. They got annoyed.
Yeah.
And they're like, I know. Even some people said, this guy must be having a brain tumor. That's what even some people said. Like,
that's extreme.
You know, Kenyans can be harsh. They can be really harsh.
That's extreme.
And so I understood what he was saying, and it's actually true. Like a lot of the bands were even there before Sauti Soul. We don't remember. You can imagine someone who's been great in music, like Eric Wanaina, for example. There's people who are like, now,
who that is?
Yeah, they're like, they don't talk about it, you know.
It's interesting that you mentioned that Giuliani had his rooftop concert last week.
At KCC, yeah.
KCC. Of course, because of the amount, because the turnout looked alright. Because they're charging 5,000 for an intimate concert, which was dope. But Kenyans being Kenyans, guys are like, ati Giuliani kwani ni nani? Mizi ametoaga ngoma gani lately simjui. So of course, you know, he had to come out and because the guys were like, who would go for a Giuliani concert? Yeah. Of course, he has his fans.
Yeah, he does. He does. Definitely he does.
Yeah, the people who still love his music. And he had to come out and defend himself again against trolls, asking, Kwani Giuliani ni nani? As in like, it's ridiculous how our artists have to keep defending themselves.
But to be honest with
and their worth.
With Giuliani, it's not even about the music. Some people just have the beef with, like, he hooked up with that woman for so and so, yeah? Like, so they take like a lot of times these beefs for music have nothing at all to do with the music.
This is a great man who edged his way out of Dandora, okay? Was managing to sit at the biggest tables with some of the biggest CEOs in this country because he made them believe in his music. You cannot take away these things from him. No matter what your personal thoughts are. If it's not your preference, it's not your preference, okay?
I think he has his sound that he's done. The only thing I would say is for these artists from back who are coming out and these new school artists, there's a format.
Right.
You know, and you've got to understand that format, how it works. You know, even producers have a format of how they produce music to get their music out. And I think a lot of times, like, there's been that elimination of the old school versus the new school. The old school have this thing of like, we are old school, you should respect us because we set the trend for you.
Yeah.
The new school are like, who the heck do you think you are? And by the way, people are listening, so you know, that's how the Volt came up.
Right.
Yeah, we're about new school and old school. We're not about any of the schools. We're about both.
Speaking of new school, Mbogi Genje are back.
They are?
Yes.
Smadi.
Yes.
And Militant.
Yes. I think the song is called Mambo Bwakni, if I'm not wrong. So they have a new song that they released last week or last week, but one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how is it? How is it? How do you rate it?
It's them. It's Mbogi, man.
That's not an answer, Myra.
It's
That's
Mbogi
not-
Genje, man.
That's not an answer, actually. It's them.
No, it's dope. It's dope. I
I
would
should
like.
call somebody and ask him what he thinks. He'll be like, hey, you know, he talks like, Maborada, Zaski. Yeah.
We actually should interview them, to be honest, with that new drop, because it's been quite a while since they've been dropping stuff.
I was actually supposed to get with Smadi in the studio, but then it's like he's been way busy. I've been too busy, so there's not been that time to link up. But I'm gonna tell them, let's link up at Icon.
Exactly.
Let's come and do our thing here, man. We get it over with.
Exactly. So I think we should extend that interview to them next week and have them in studio. But they do have their new track out. It's dope. People, if you don't tambua them here in Kenya, they've been tambuliwa there in TZ. I don't even know why they haven't done a tour till now. I don't know why they haven't gone out of the country and performed till now.
But like I heard, TZ, I think G Rongi is the one who said this. TZ are actually, they're actually curious about our Sheng from Kenya.
Exactly.
We always look at, Swahili Sanifu, we always look at their way of doing Swahili, but then they look at us also, and they're like, so Bogi are that glue.
Yes, and they still are relevant till today.
Yeah.
So they really need to continue now just putting out music because they are our export. They are their language is what we identify as our own. So they need to continue putting things out. Ethic Pia, they're coming back. They're also making a comeback into the scene as well. I don't know if they're coming back, all of them, but they're also making a comeback. I think they're set to drop, or they have already dropped a track as well.
But I know when I spoke to Smadi some time ago, he had come up with some ideas of a new sound. They're trying. You see the way Burna Boy has kind of broken away from Afrobeats, like I also know they're trying to get into a new sound, so it doesn't just remain that Gengeton sound, which I think is clever, in a way you market yourself, because if you stay in something too long, as I've said many times on this show, it's like waking up every day and eating kunde. It's impossible,
right?
So you got to change your sound. So I always support these artists when you're thinking outside the box, when you're trying different genres and seeing how they can work, because even if you look at hip-hop was not made up of one genre. It's made up of several genres that come together.
Right.
Right. And that's how it came together. And so the thing is, I think artists out there, you don't get too comfortable. And I think that comes back to Ted Josiah, what he was talking about being forgotten. You can't get too comfortable in what you do that you don't grow. And a lot of artists in Kenya, I don't talk about Africa, are now growing. The other day there was a Freema Award. Did you check it out?
No, I didn't, but I saw the winners.
Yeah, I think Nadia
won.
One big shout out to Nadia for winning. I saw Fali got on stage. People are going crazy.
Fali has that star power forever and ever.
He even performed. Like when he get on stage, it's like people. It's not in a bad way, but it's like those other artists. It was like the chance were that big till Fali got on stage.
Fali, he's always coming strong. From the moment he stepped on that stage, for the very first day, I think it was Big Brother. That's the first time I ever saw him. And he made people remember. He's like, remember my name, I'm Fali Ipupa.
And the funny thing about Fali, he was actually in Kofi's band.
Yes.
Yeah. And Kofi, being the proud man that he is, when Fali decided he wants to go to his own career, like, you'll not make it. But the thing I respect about Fali, and I explained this some the other day, he's a new school of Lingala music, He's come up with a new sound. He's come up working with new artists that these other artists who are in his genre have not worked with.
And he's done crossovers, a lot of crossovers.
Yeah.
So he's remained relevant till today. Even if he takes a break for 5 years, when he comes back, he'll still be relevant.
Yeah, and that's the thing the artists need to look at. They need to look at, like, that's why I say there's a formula. Like, you need to understand it, like how to make your career work.
I think that's what Mbogi have. Mbogi Genji have that star power. Because like Militants is always posting, he's always doing his thing, he's always sharing. Selling his stickers and stuff like that for Mbogi Genji and stuff. They've always remained relevant, and because they have the Sheng as well, there's always that star power around them. It's just, I think they need to now be churning out more, because they would actually be our Amapiano, they would actually be our Afrobeats if they just continued and had powerhouses behind them who can really, really push them.
I think with them, they took a time to recollect,
Yeah.
which is good, which is
very
important.
Good, yeah.
For you just clear your mind and figure out where exactly you want to go.
Mm.
And so I think now that they've cleared their mind, because a lot of people do listen to them. There's a time I was in town and I'd go on to check out my local movie spot. And then it's like I had my flash, and then I remember we had done one of the first ciphers, in case you guys don't know, was Boogie was on it, Bogenji was on it.
Yeah.
I think it was like the second cipher or something. They were
the
on
second
it.
one, yeah.
Yeah, they
It
were
was
on
Brooklyn
it.
then Bogey.
And so I happened, the guy took my flash, and that recording we did was in there. And he was like, "What? Boogie Genji?" And then it's like, "When can you bring them here?" So
Yeah.
they have a following.
They do.
But it's not about maintaining it, taking it to the next level.
Yeah.
Because the talent is there. There's them. I remember that time there was Jeshi Jinga. The other
Yeah.
guys were really doing.
Jeshi Jinga need to come back. Again,
Yeah.
for the aspect of that, Sheng.
Uh,
And we just elevated. We stop. As in, like, if Kenyan media actually elevated people like Jeshi Jinga and Boki Genje, I am sure there'll be a lot of people clamoring to work with them because of the fact of that they're unique. They're not the same as anybody else.
I remember when Eric Wanana came on this show, and he was like, "That's his playlist."
Yeah.
But he did make a point. He did say that he feels that Gengeton would go farther internationally if they would have called themselves like Kenyan dance hall. Like it's
we
just
don't have
like
to be a Kenyan anything.
just-
We're just if it's dancehall, it's dancehall.
it's just like how the Spanish they took that thing reggaeton. They already took a name that was reggae, and then they had that thing to it.
Right.
And so it's been there for years. So I mean, from the days of Daddy Yankee, it's been there like forever.
Yeah.
And so I'd say the Gengeton artists they need to look for a way to rebrand.
Right.
Because right now all they're doing is you hear a Gengeton track, it's just chants. It's just chants. Like, and the thing is, but the chants can only get so far. Because that's
Yeah.
exactly how disco pop music was EDM back in the days. That was those chants.
Yeah.
But now it reaches a place where people don't want to hear the chants. They want to hear the musicality of it. And so I feel that these artists they need to look for different ways that they can really bring. Don't get too comfortable, because in the last couple, I think I've seen like 6 or 7 Gengeton tracks that are just like chants. So you need to get they're great. They're great for parties. They're great for when people go for weddings and things like that. But then they got to think outside the box.
100%. I like what you're saying for sure. I think that's something that, again, I think the people who are failing as our own people, we need to elevate these guys a bit more, make a lot more nice. And then these guys also need to find a way to actually also elevate themselves, put themselves in different markets. Like now, Rosary, the way she gave those guys mad props, they should really ride on that wave as much as possible to get themselves into TZ, then into Uganda, then into South Africa, like that. And get appreciation for their music.
But yeah, you're right, because I remember we were in the studio with Maka there, man. And he sent me a track that we recorded on with him for some producers from Lithuania.
Mm.
These,
I remember that track, yeah.
Those guys are white boys they're a band that makes Afrobeat music. Now when you think about it, why can't Gengeton go to Lithuania? Why can't it go, like, look for outroads to really market your music? That's one thing that we can respect about Nigeria. Nigeria, whether you like them or you don't like them, they'll be like, this is our sound and we're going to make it known.
Exactly.
And people are going to hear about it. They're going to make sure you hear about it.
Jamaican artists and stuff. Like, they've always find a way to find that crossover,
Yeah. And the funniest thing is the Ghanaian music scene, the urban music scene was even there before the
Before
Nigerian.
it's kind of like...
Yeah. But now it's like they actually
Struggling.
admit they wish they behaved like Nigeria. And those two have been having competition for years, from football to rice to they always have a beef with each other. So
Yeah.
they're like, we wish we'd have just been like, screw it, we're gonna do the music like this, we're gonna stick to it.
It's like us at TZ, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, we were there and then TZ kind of just like came and...
Yeah. Like, even if you look at Amapiano right now, I was discussing this the other day. Amapiano has different layers to it. It's not one layer the way we think. But a lot of times we hear that one layer over here. Like, you hear Kenyan artists, like now you hear Diamonds on Amapiano, everyone's on Amapiano. But they all do the Amapiano the same. They're like, Woza. It's always the same. Like, and the thing is, but when you go and you actually listen to when piano coming from South Africa has different layers to it. So we
Right.
as Kenyan artists, we also need to realize, and producers also need to realize how to add those layers that make us more marketable
Right.
out there.
Right.
You know, because now um, it's like the other day. It's like I saw Eliud Kipchoge was in Paris. He didn't get the record, but he won. You know,
Mm.
but he's always looking for a way to change the way he does things. He's always looking. He doesn't be like, yeah, I ran like this last time. I'm gonna run like this time. No, he's always. And artists need to understand this creative industry. To be a creative, there's layers to it. Everything. You
Right.
know, even with like when you make tea, you don't just throw everything together. You like put them at a time and they grow. You know.
Exactly.
And so I feel like Kenyan artists, we need to stop being lazy.
Mm.
Even producers, we need to stop being lazy,
Yeah.
and we need to figure out like how can we make things better. Because even the world of sampling has changed. You know, it's changed on how people sample music right now. You know, there are even laws in place on how you sample music now. And so the thing is, we've got to understand how we can really sell our Kenyanness. People like I tell people all the time, like in Kenya we have our food that's not in other places in the world,
Yeah.
but you rarely see that food in videos.
You're absolutely right. We really need to have to find a way to sell ourselves because it's always a question: why are we not out there? But yes, I think it's time we brought Bogi Genje and Jeshijinga to the table. Let's tell them, listen, guys,
Jeshi, where are you? Where are you?
this is our sound.
Uh,
We're going with it, whether you like it or not. So let's get to work and make some
Another
money.
crew we need to bring back. Unfortunately, they went through some hardship some time ago. But Sniper Gang.
Yeah, those guys are mad talented.
Uh,
Dachi, we're calling you soon. Let's go on a break. We'll be back after this.
okay.
Juakali Gembetenge. Eh, where? If you know what that means, please share to hit us up on +254 We are coming to the end of the show. Time has gone so fast. But yes, what do you feel is the future of our music mixed in with, or rather just representation of our music, and that is especially Gengeton? Because now this is the music we've heard for the last break is that, and it's still quite good to hear.
I think the future of Kenya music is bringing ethnicity to life. That's what I feel. I mean, we have like enough tribes in Kenya. We may not have like over 300 like Nigeria, but we have enough tribes. Within those tribes, there's a way people talk. There's a way they laugh. There's a way they have stories. That's what's gonna make our music grow.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
It's good that old school artists are coming together with young school artists, you know, because that's the way it should be. You know, you should learn from each other.
Yeah.
You know, the way I look at it.
Yeah.
And so I feel that's great. There should be more of that happening right now in the music scene. Unfortunately, some people stick in one place. I feel like I've always felt that if you're a hip hop artist, you know, reach out to someone who doesn't do hip hop. You know, like example, if I was a hip hop artist, I would look for someone like Kenwa Maria.
Yeah.
You know, if Munishi was around, I'd look for him.
Yeah.
You know, so it brings diversity, because what's lacking in our music is diversity. I feel that's really we get so caught up of what does the international market want.
Right.
But the international market wants to know what is happening locally.
Exactly. We have to accept it here first.
Yeah.
It's the only way that anybody will be able to tune in and say, okay, I want to be identified with this song, is because we've made it cool first.
Yeah. So I feel there's growth that has been made, you know, which is positive, but there's still a way to go.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like when the children of Israel were removed from Egypt. They didn't get to a certain place, said, hey, screw it, we're not moving from here. We're happy here. They're like, they had to keep on moving until they go to the promised land.
Yeah.
So we need to get to our promised land of music.
Yeah.
You know, that means we're going to have to keep on working, keep on putting in the time, keep on putting it. And I'll tell you this, no one has it absolutely right in the world. No one in the world has this thing absolutely called music. They're always learning. They're always learning something, and that's why they say there's a statement that's made that there's nothing new
under the sun.
Yeah,
word.
You know, you're only improving
on
something. Like, for example, when the first phones came out in Kenya, nowadays we call them Mulika Muizi or what, but when they first came out, there was these small Nokias or Sony Ericsson, or
the smaller the better.
Yeah, they were there. But now, what did they do? Those guys who had the technology, they improved on it to where it became that smartphone.
Now it's bigger.
Yeah. So that's what we need to do with music.
Right. 100%. I agree with you. Again, the only way we'll make ourselves known in the international market is by how much we blow ourselves up here.
True.
And I gotta give it up to some of the artists. They're actually putting in the work. They're even just guys who are just at home doing remixes to old dancehall music. I found that so cool. Just hopefully they won't get any copyright issues with that, because remember that happened with Ethic some time back. But yeah, I think where again the younger guys are now embracing their sheng, and they're embracing it in music, and they're making it cool on TikTok. Like it's time for people like us to make sure that they're amplifying their voice together with them. That they're not alone. We all need to be there doing it, and not stop criticizing and saying, "Oh, music cannot be understood." Do you know what people are saying in Nigeria? Do you understand their language?
We don't know the heck they're talking
about. Do you understand what people are saying in South Africa? We don't know when you're saying Lombolose, what it means.
When Davido sang his song, I thought he said, Tuna Songambele.
Yes. We need to, the only way, again, anybody will be able to sing anything in Sheng is because we've made it cool enough. We made it cool enough.
Like I actually miss those days of like that song Atoti, the remix with Wiki Mosh. Those are the days I miss. I miss those tunes where you listen to them and people are like, yeah, that's my tribe. That's mine going down. You know, like when you hear Kikuyu music, people are like, yeah, that's us. You hear Kalenjin music, you know, you hear Masai music, you're like, yeah, That is us, and you take pride in it because you know that that's what you represent.
Exactly. So it's
You
about
know.
time to some Botonge Beleteze. I hope I got that right.
This Shane today is just like off the chart, off the chart.
That one I made up, totally made up. I hope that's what it says. It's some Botonge Beleteze, okay?
Yeah. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna keep quiet about that. Yeah, I'm gonna keep. I don't want to look like a fool. Huh?
I am going to understand that language in one way or another. Because that's the only
There
way.
is actually a page on Facebook. There's a Shane community that breaks down these words.
I need to.
So you go there,
I
you're
need
like,
to learn.
oh, so this is what they were saying. Now, because I remember there's a time we did that track with Bogi Genje.
Yeah.
And then there's another track, you'll hear it soon, the community out there
Oh,
with
yeah,
Jesse Jingo on it.
oh,
And I remember
gosh.
Jesse Jingo in the studio,
Yeah.
and I played that track, and I think it was Smarty's verse, and they're like, Hapo may make sense. And I was like, what the heck? I didn't understand what the heck he was talking about. And I was like, it was very serious when he said Hapo may make sense.
Oh gosh, that is hilarious. Love it. I love it. I love it. I want to hear the part that makes sense. Yeah, we have to ride the wave, guys. We have to ride the wave. I think now it's time we lead the charge. It's time to lead the charge.
It is time, and you gotta understand, like, this is the generation that we live in right now in 2023, where this guy's Swahili way of talking is different. Now you gotta imagine the kids who are now like 10, 8. By the time they get to teenagers, it will be a whole different format.
Yeah.
And so the world is constantly moving. So we should not expect the world to stand still and be like, because we did it this way, this is the only way you can do it. And I was saying some of this the other day. Do you remember, like, when the guitar first came out? All the church said this is the devil's instruments, demonic. Now what are they doing? They all use
They're all in it.
it's the main instrument for praise and worship.
Yeah,
You know?
it is.
And so the world doesn't stand still. So don't expect it to stand still for you.
Yeah.
You got to keep on moving. You got to keep on equipping yourself. If you're an artist, go out there and check out what other artists are doing. Go on. There's so much music now, whether you go on Spotify or there's so many new artists that you can learn from. Don't be caught up in your world and just be like, yeah, I'm the best at what I do. I'm the greatest. At the end of the day, you become great by learning.
100%. Love that. So, any closing sentiments, closing words before we end with the show?
Yeah, I'll say one thing. I was waiting for the end to say this. So, the vault has been up for a minute now.
Yeah.
And we put a lot of guys on the map.
Yeah.
Who are coming out and doing their things. We came up with, in case you don't know the history, it's me and Myra who came up with the vault and how to cipher on the vault.
Yeah.
I've been seeing people now going around and
you
taking
guys had to.
No, I got no beef that you're everyone has their own way of doing something.
100%.
And improving on something.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I just want to tell artists out there, we're still out there. We're out here to promote you. We're out there to help you.
Yeah.
What we do on the vault, it's not just a show to come and play your music and go back home.
Yeah.
It's a place where we listen to your music. We help elevate you. We help
Yeah.
educate you.
Yeah.
Because if you're not being educated, there ain't nothing you're doing. And so it's all good. Those other people out there are trying to do what we're doing. I just give a big shout out. But what I'm trying to say is, on this space, there's something big coming. So all of you guys who are the fans of this show, keep your ears glued, because there's something that that you won't expect.
We're actually in another season. That was a
Yes.
different season. We're in another season.
Yes, we're definitely in another. And one last thing, artists, and I keep on insisting about this, I need you to listen to what I'm saying. If you're going to if you want to come on the show, we have no problem. We've opened the door for you. You can come in, But even when you go visit a family member, you come in with a gift. The gift is, when I come na katiba, zivi, tangawizi. The gift is your music.
Yeah.
The gift is also, send us your electronic press kit. People sometimes send all these crazy things to us that are not electronic press kits. We've broken it down several times. You can go on our website and see how to put together
Exactly.
electronic press kit. And nowadays,
Not something that has been forwarded 100 times.
and
on
I just want to tell you right now, nowadays, electronic press kits are easy to make. There's templates online.
Yeah.
They can do the job for you. There's even
AI.
AI templates.
Yes.
So what is your excuse?
There is that, everything has been made easy for you.
Yeah.
Everything.
I see all these URs are coming up. They're always with their phone taking pictures. Why do you take those pictures and create them into your press kit?
Yeah.
A positive thing. You know,
100%.
so like we're opening the doorways for you. You can't say the door hasn't been opened for you. But trust me, the door will be closed if you don't do something the right way.
Yeah. Yeah, so for those who try to replicate what we're doing, we appreciate. They say imitation is a what?
Imitation.
It's the greatest form of flattery. Okay,
So we're being flattered.
we're being I'm very flattered. Thank you for recognizing what we've done. Of course, we do hope that you succeed in the project you have embarked on. It's not the easiest, and we wish you all the success. Of course, stand by for season 2 of The Vault. Just as Jimmy has said.
Yeah, the new season of The World is dangerous. You know, like how that song, Dangerous. That's us now.
Mystical. Yes. So lots coming up. Of course, we are here to always elevate people, elevate our music. Like we said, it's time for us to get on that map, and it starts right here at home. Charity begins at home. So, guys, we gotta go. From me and Jimmy, it's adios. And always, as we always say, hip hop ni culture ya love, usisahau.
Oh, yeah.